Welcome back to another Sunday Sense Ep5. Episode 5. Today is a very special day. Today is Easter. So, happy Easter. He has risen. And who knows when he's going to come back, but hopefully soon, because we really need him around here. We really do. If you start by looking at the White House, deciding to celebrate the Trans Visibility Day more, or I will say this, giving more importance to the Trans Visibility Day than Easter itself, not allowing any of those Easter eggs to have any kind of religious signs or anything on it. And basically just disregarding what our beliefs of the majority are. Doesn't matter if you're Catholic or Christian or whatever. I mean, you believe that he has risen. That today is a day. And you have decided, basically, the White House decided to give more importance to the Trans Visibility Day than us, than the people that believe. And that's very wrong. That's very wrong because, look, I don't have a problem with whatever people decide to do with their life or with their bodies. That's their choice. Is okay, whatever. As long as it doesn't affect me or doesn't affect my kids, that's your problem. I mean, it's your body at the end of the day, no? But they're really trying to push that into us one way or another, and taking it as it's more important than religion or anything else. They can be 365 days to do this, but they have to choose a day that eventually was going to coincide with Easter. And I will say this because if we go back into when um, they declared the Trans Visibility Day, it was not Easter. I think Easter landed in that year on April 4th, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, the calendar moves on, days moves on, and it changes. And now this year landed on Easter. Why would they do that? That's a pretty good question. But it's all about how to just push an ideology into somebody that, I mean, look, everybody have already set their minds into something, okay? Like me, I respect everybody. I respect whatever choice it is that you have or that they have, whatever. But we have a problem when they just once again try to stick it into our heads with a hammer. Is completely uncalled for and very wrong, extremely wrong. That needs to change, and that needs to change soon. I think that it's very important that we respect as much as the trans community wants to be respected. I can bet you money that the religious families like ours and everybody else's wants to be respected as well. And it's kind of interesting to see that people like me respect whatever others want to do with their lives, and if they want to be trans or not, that's their choice. As long as, obviously, in my personal opinion, they're 18 years old or older, so they can make their own choices. Even though 18 years old is still kind of young to make a lot of choices, especially something so influential and deep like that. But well, we're gonna talk about that in a second. I think that, look, and actually, let me just talk about this very quickly. It's very interesting how whenever they want to put something down your throat, it's going to happen, like it or not. The trans community most probably will get mad if we say, well, Easter is more important than Trans Visibility Day. Why? Because we have a couple thousands of years celebrating this, and it's extremely important in our beliefs, as it should be for them as well. But they instead of just respecting that, they would and they actually push it down our throats and say, well, but ours is more important. Well, why don't you pick another day? So it will never get to coincide with Easter. Next year is not going to coincide, but still, it's going to be the same problem eventually, and that needs to be addressed. That needs to be addressed, and we tend to to manage and juggle everything, back and forth and try to figure it out with everybody. We understand everybody's side, but not everybody understands us. And it doesn't matter what it is. And if the media wants to put something down your throat, they will. And now I think it's important that we talk about the age that I just mentioned for a sex change operation. Look, that is something that is the most life changing thing you can do in your life. Literally. You cannot go back into it as easy, I'm guessing. Once you mess up with your body that way, you're done, basically. Consequences will be really out of hand. And it's not a decision that can be once again taken back lightly. Is something that, look, we need to be 18 years old to vote, which I think is wrong. It should be actually higher because at 16 years old, man, no, that the brain is not completely developed, especially for men. Women are smarter and they actually develop it faster than men. I wouldn't decide for women, but men, no way. 18 is too young. Carry weapons, etc., etc. They say no, they have to be at least 21. By the way, the election thing is something that they're trying to change to bring it down to less than 18. I mean, this is insane. Something that we're going to be talking about, this voting rights craziness happening this week, by the way, too. But that brings up the very interesting point in which, look, if you're a parent and you think that your son or your daughter wants to become transgender before they hit 18 years old, and you're going to give them all of those medications and everything and puberty blockers, I mean, everything is going to alter their lives so much that, man, it should be illegal. It should be illegal. I mean, you're not even allowed to smoke until you're 18. Of course, it should be illegal to do something so important to your body. Look, develop completely, start having the right mentality, and make your right choices. Once you have the age to be able to make those right choices, do whatever you want. I mean, that's your body, do whatever you want. But at least from that moment on, you will make the best decision possible for your body. Not when you're young, not when you are 2, 3 years old, 4 years old. Listen, how can we even say this at 3 years old? Or I see some videos of some parents saying, oh, my son is a daughter. Why? Because he plays with girly toys or something? No, that's not it. At 3 or 4 or 5 years old, you can't determine that. You cannot determine that. That is more you as a parent that is pushing that into them. And the whole, look, this is the way I see it. It doesn't matter how old that kid is. When they're growing up, when they're developing, maturing, they will be doing most of the things that us as parents try to teach them. For example, if we want them to eat veggies, because in my house they only eat veggies, and we teach them to eat veggies, which is not the case, by the way. But we teach them to eat veggies. We eat cows, lots of cows. And I like the meat, like you almost touch and it goes moo kind of thing. But okay, going back into the veggies. So you actually grow up feeding the baby veggies. That baby is going to learn to eat veggies and is going to love veggies. When normally most of the kids will detest veggies. So it's all how you teach them. It's all how you raise them. In your house, if you teach them values, if you teach them respect, all of that is important for the developing of any human, especially at that age. And that is exactly the time in which you can actually mold this little human being to be the best version of themselves until they are 18 years old and move on in life. That's why you have to develop that. But don't come and tell me, oh no, he's 3 or 4 years old and he believes he or she is from the other's sex. No, that's parents' fault, and that is a huge mistake. Because the more we try to push something because we probably think is cool, which by the way, if you think is cool, your mind is blown. I mean, There is nothing we can do to fix it. But that's what I believe on those parents. Obviously, there are some kids that have, some hormones that are kind of trying to figure out what they want or what they like or what it is. It's normal. I understand that. But let it be, let it develop, let them grow up. And then once they decide to go a certain route, let them take that route. But at least teach them that the only thing that is normal here is we are born men or women, female. That's it. There is no other way in the middle. That's what we are born. And that's exactly the way that we are supposed to be. And as much as we want to change it, we can't. We can try to alter it. That's what it is. We're altering our bodies to do something that we want, not something that we were designed to be. That is completely anti nature. We don't have any other animals that we know of that we can consider them to say, well, you know what, I'm going to be I don't know, trans whale or a trans shark or a trans cow. I don't know. No, obviously it doesn't exist. There is only two ways. And once again, if they decide to change or you decide to change or whatever it is, that's up to you. But don't do that to the kids. Let them grow up. Let them develop. Let them make their own choices once they're old enough to make those choices. Everybody likes to control everything in our life. Oh yeah, you cannot have guns, you cannot vote, you cannot do this, you cannot vote. Okay, everything, great. But this is something that taken very lightly. And the most dangerous part is in life is this. Something that if they decide to backtrack, it's too late. They can't do it later on. Their life will be most probably destroyed by the time they say, wait, hold on, but I didn't want this. I was only 5, 6, 7 years old and my parents did this to me. No. And then you also have the government coming in and taking over and taking control of this kid because the government thinks once again that they know better what to do with our kids. That is insane. That is pure insanity. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. And hopefully, laws are going to change that and try to make this as straight as possible. Look at England. England already prohibited any kind of purity blockers. Those purity blockers are essential, extremely essential. And until you are in an age that you can make your right decisions and accept the consequences of those decisions. That is a very important part that we are forgetting here. You have to be at peace with that choice for the rest of your life. And that is a pretty harsh one. Anyways, something else that I wanted to talk about is the bridge. The bridge that collapsed in Baltimore. Very, very sad. Very, very gruesome. Is looking at the video, it was pretty impressive. Just seeing how everything happened. Look, I'm not going to be one of those that say, well, the conspiracy theory of that they did that purposely. I don't know. I don't think so. Is if they wanted to do it purposely, I think during the day it will cause more casualties and stuff. So no, I don't think it was done purposely. I think one way or another it was a malfunction of the engines, or who knows. I understood or heard that they had some kind of a problem with the electrical system, but nevertheless, it's extremely sad. Extremely, extremely sad. It is something that should have never happened. But that brings up another point, which is I don't know if you guys remember, but when Biden got elected, I remember seeing on the news a lot about the infrastructure bill. That bill that had a bunch of stuff and some infrastructure money on it. Like always, like every bill. But that should be more than illegal to make a bill that they can just put whatever they want on it and and let it roll. That should never happen. But that's what it is. I mean, that's what Washington is. Who knows if it will ever change? But talking about that infrastructure bill is very important because there was supposed to be a lot of money dedicated to upgrade and develop our infrastructure once again. Am I right? What it is, highways, bridges, airports, etc., etc. But obviously, that was a very, let's say, X amount on that bill. The rest of the money, who knows where it went? Like always, nobody knows. Nobody gives control of that. They just want to control your $500 or $600 that you receive through Cash App. That is very important. Not the billions of dollars disappear. Who cares about that? It's the $600 that you're getting that you better be taxed on. That's the essential part. So thank Biden for that. Very awesome. Anyways, that money they would have used it correctly. They should come up with some kind of a system, some kind of an alert of a, let's call it a danger zone or something. As soon as a ship crosses a danger zone, activates alarms, allow cars to move out of the bridge quicker, and prohibit any other vehicles from coming into the bridge. I mean, they should develop something like this and should be put in every single bridge of that magnitude, which coming from Miami, there are plenty of those down there. And they should have the same system, same exact system. And why? Because it is important. It could save lives. It doesn't happen every day, but it could save lives. When something like this happens, and it happens in a day during the day when you have more casualties, so you could have more casualties. So that would be good to be, it's a preventative measure that should be taken. But I don't even know that fund for the infrastructure has any kind of money left. Who knows? Who knows? Nobody knows where the money went, anyways. Something else that happened this week, beginning of the week, that I was mentioning on my last podcast, Monday. I turn on the news, and sometimes I will actually turn on CNN. Let me backtrack a little bit. Every morning, I dedicate some time to read all the news, how I mentioned before. I think I mentioned in my first podcast. It is important to stay informed. So when I say that I watch Fox News, CNN and Fox News too, it's not that I watch it because I like it or because I believe them or because that's where my thoughts are and my principles are and what I think is true. No, at all. I watch it because I like to be informed, because I like to know exactly what is going on from every angle, every point of view, and that allows me to make my own decisions and not a decision to how can I use? What would be the best word to use here? I think that would allow me to make my own conclusions on what really is happening in the world. And CNN is great. It's great, I have to admit. It's great because, look, after you read so many other options, even BBC, and then you go to CNN, there is such a contrast there that you're like, oh man, these people are full of bull. You know what? Not the one I eat. I eat the actual cow. But it comes down to all of these people in CNN. I remember watching Monday morning, and everybody was like, "Tommy's thinking. I want to see what is going to happen to Trump. He's going to lose everything. Oh, this is going to be great." And then what happens? The appeal courts basically decided to lower down the bond, continue to allow them to do business in New York, which makes sense. Lower down the bond, still $100 and something million, which is an insane amount of money. It's so hard to make 1 million, and imagine these people just throwing numbers out there like who cares? And it's crazy. But at least they put a lot of sense into this. They should come up with their own podcast, which says Monday Sense. No, not really. That no. But anyways, they did come up with all of this, which allow the process to continue, allow Trump to meet the bond and move on with the appeal to that ridiculous and insane ruling that came from that judge. So that's very interesting. Now he has to deal with a couple more cases. Actually, a case that he has to be in court for, which is the hush money that he had with that amazing lawyer that came up to be a piece of something, huh? And that's going to be interesting to watch because whatever the ruling on this case is for the hush money, is going to affect a lot of other cases, and that could really backfire. That could really backfire because if something goes against Trump on this case, and that is the last ruling, let's say it, a lot of people are gonna come back that have already have agreements that have been done for many years, and all of them are coming back to sue a bunch of other people. This is going to be completely messed up. But hey, who knows? All those judges doing things that I don't know where they come up from is crazy. But I do believe that it's important that everybody has the right to the day in court. That is extremely essential. It is important. And every case, every case should be seen, should be analyzed, and, anyways, let's see what happens there. And talking about judges, I don't know if you guys remember my last podcast, episode 4. I was talking about rulings from judges, and I did mention that it was just a matter of time for a judge to come out, and that was because a federal judge said that illegal immigrants have the right to bear arms in this country, to have a weapon, basically they're falling to the Second Amendment, even though they're not citizens or residents or nothing. They have nothing to do with our constitution. They're illegals, but this federal judge said that they have the right to possess weapons. And I was mentioning that it was just a matter of time for a judge to come up and say that illegals also have the right to vote. Well, that didn't take long. A couple days later, a federal judge ruled that in Washington, D.C., they had this law that had passed that allow illegal immigrants to vote in local elections. I don't know if you knew about this, but this is insane. This is crazy. This is something that you will never see anywhere, in any other country of the world that will be allowed. And why? Because, yes, it's true. The rule or the law doesn't allow illegal immigrants to vote in federal elections. But those local elections are so important. I mean, they can choose for the state attorney, if I'm not mistaken. That's insane. That's insane. I mean, the mayors or anything. I mean, only Washington D.C. would think of something like this. They really don't know how else and how else to manage the votes and try to. This is the way to buy votes. That's the way I see it. I'm gonna buy votes by bringing illegal immigrants, allow them to vote, and then eventually change everything. Listen, I believe that. That we should keep a very close eye on this. It doesn't matter if you're Latin, if you're black, if you are whatever it is that you are. You should be really bothered by this, very bothered, because your rights, my rights, as an Hispanic, as a Latin person, as Hispanic, in Latin obviously, are being completely stepped on, and eventually our voice is not going to count. And that needs to stop. That really and truly needs to stop. People that are nationals, people that have born here, people that have fought so hard the legal way to obtain their citizenship should really be bothered by this. Very bothered. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, if you can't win an election fair and square, why are you even part of the electoral system? Just move on to do something else. That's it. Move on to do something else. Leave politics, leave everything aside because these people need to understand the damage you're causing this country. They're bringing us down, completely down. They're causing an internal war between each other, trying to understand why is all of this happening? Why are aren't they taking care of us, the people that voted them in? Well, guess what? In the future, they're going to care even less because we're obviously not the ones voting them in, or all the illegal immigrants voting for them to put them in. So, once again, I hope that we have a very, very strong change coming up in November that is so needed in this country. So needed. Anyways, I think I have spoken a little bit about everything that happened this week, and trying to put some sense into all this craziness going on, especially because I care about it. My kids, this is the country where they're going to be living in, and I do care for them. I care what's going to happen with them. We need a change. We really and truly need a change, and hopefully we see that change coming up soon because we deserve it. We deserve it, and we need it. For now, I hope you had enjoyed your Easter with your family, and let's see what comes up in the future. Hopefully, he comes back to save us. Because once again, we need him. We need God in us. We need religion in us. We need belief. We need to believe. That is something that we need to do. Our values are going out the window, and we need to do something about that. For now, once again, God bless us all, and I am over and out.